you feel a brand new day? Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones, licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl Therapists in the Wild. And many things have happened today. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's left me with a question. So, I always like to bring up post-traumatic slave syndrome, Dr. Joy DeGruy's just epic book, and her theory on how trauma transgresses the generations and how she's used epigenetics to, and applied it to Black people, and how slavery and segregation and continued societal oppressions have affected us.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome is an explanatory theory that really looks at multi-generational trauma. One of the things that's difficult for people is their first response is, oh my God, that happened so long ago. We're talking about people being captured, shipped, sold, beaten, raped, experimented on. And then you have to ask the question, did the trauma continue? Yes, so 300 years of trauma, no help, freed. No help, more trauma.
And we've seen that today. But the question that came to my mind was more so, if trauma can be passed down in a society in a way that's detrimental to the society in an overt way, can narcissism and sociopathy and racism and maladaptive thinking and thought processes be passed down as well when it comes to the oppressor and racism and white people? Because I feel like that's what we're seeing today. I feel like we're seeing that passing down of generational, abuse and trauma. I will say trauma because, if we really look at it, the settlers that came over here first, from England, were degenerates. They were the lower class of the English society. They were robbers and rapists and liars and gamblers and people committing fraud, all the jailbreakers and all those people. And they basically sent them away to a far off land. And they settled and pillaged and raped the Americas. And so if we're starting off there with the degenerates starting off a country, or stealing a country, then you would have to think that degenerate type mentality would follow them into the generations to come. And I'm wondering, if our trauma from slavery can be passed down in our families, if trauma from the genocide of the Native Americans, the genocide of the Jewish people can be passed down in those cultures, why not racism and narcissism and sociopathy as well? And trauma can create negative, maladaptive thinking. So trauma and epigenetics can also be a part of what's going on with the white folks too. Not all white people, of course, because people need to hear that. They can't just know that we're not talking about all white people or all men or whatever. So let's say that. But I feel like we're seeing that today. That's why we're seeing police officers letting people into the Capitol. To rampage and pillage. That's why we're seeing police officers taking selfies, because just like I was talking about in my review of the movie, It's a Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and how men don't see women as people. These white police officers they see these white people as like people, as humans, as their cousins and brothers and sisters and all this other, just like how they see animals and stuff as creatures that deserve to live and prosper and things. So when you see somebody that reminds you of your family member out in a crowd committing a crime, you're going to try to do the least likely thing to hurt them. And so, you let them in the Capitol. Some of them police officers, just like how the police force was formed from the KKK, are a part of this whole debacle, and we're seeing it on live television. Now, we cannot be in denial about systematic racism. It's on the TV. You can see it. If you come for me, I will play a video. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to play the video of the officers nicely opening up the gates for the white folks to walk through and pillage the fucking Capitol. I will play the video of the officer kindly helping this woman walk down the stairs who just finished pillaging the fucking Capitol. And helping her get on her way. Not arresting her. We don't arrest these hoes. I was waiting for gunshots. I don't care. I was waiting for a barrage of bullets. No. And it's a part of I see you as people. I think this is okay because this is what my culture has taught me and this is what has been passed down to me. And just willful ignorance. When you turn a certain age, all that bullshit turns into willful ignorance. No, you're not a child. You are an adult. I don't care what your culture says. You know that if you're doing something that hurts somebody else, who the fuck cares what your culture says? So, I don't know. I just had so many emotions. And for anyone who's new to this channel is also like therapy, commentaries, and random. I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of movie stuff because I've been busy and we're in a pandemic. And I've also been depressed. And so that's the only energy I've had. So, because doing actual therapy videos takes research and thought processes that I do not have at the moment. But this today made me, I just wanted to say something. I felt in my spirit that I had to say something about this because this is some bullshit. They were climbing the walls of the Capitol. They were climbing and no one was coming to yank them down. They denied the National Guard from coming and getting these motherfucking people. The Department of Defense denied the National Guard from coming. I wanted them to wreck that shit. I was like, well, if we're going to let these white folks do what the fuck they want to do, let them wreck that motherfucker. Blow that bitch up then. Because at the end of the day, you're letting... And this is why... This is how deep trauma goes. So back to trauma and the therapeutic part of this video. If left unchecked, even little things, microaggressions, grow and form that person, that individual's mindset of what the world is like. Small things, lack of representation forms your idea of what is right and what is wrong when it comes to the different ethnicities in this world. 400 years of subjugation and racism and discrimination forms how the oppressor views the oppressed. We are not just out here complaining. Epigenetics is real on both sides of the coin. On the black people sides, experiencing, that's why we have, black on black issues between us, people. Whether it's men and women, whether it's gang violence, whether it's, not liking ourselves, that's the toxicness in our culture that we need to work on. And then the white folks have the racism and whatever else that makes them feel like the choices that they're making are right when it's really toxic and racist and wrong. So it's both sides of the coin have issues, but one side of the coin is leading the fucking world and telling all the brown people that there's something wrong with us, okay? So both sides are sick, but one side has power. So since that one side has power and they're sick, we're in a fucked up situation now. And nobody wanted to do anything, say anything, change anything, just make excuses for these fucking people. Trump was going to be impeached at one point. That didn't happen. Like, why does and I always marvel at this. Why does the worst thing have to happen before we make a move? Why does the damn near worst thing have to happen? You saw all these little things. And I think it's a human nature because we do that when it comes to the people we invite into our lives. We make excuses for these little infractions that they're making. Oh, it's just a bad day. Oh, no, he just hasn't eaten today or something, and that's why he socked the wall. And, shit like that. Before eventually the big thing happens where he shoots you in the fucking arm. And then you're like, well, maybe I should think about leaving because he shot you in the arm. What about when he socked the wall or what, and I think it's just human nature. I've been there. Everyone at some point has been in that place where you are making excuses for fuckery. Until some big ass shit happens. You don't have to do that. You see what happens to the country as we've done this thing for 400 years. Longer than that. Whenever Columbus decided to bring his raggedy, evil motherfucking ass over here and mess with these native people. Did you know the Mayans had like elevators and shit like that before Columbus came and ruined and killed everybody? Technology was lost. The shit that people of color have had, like a water filtration system was happening in Egypt. I just feel like when you have this deep-seated issue in your culture that tells you to rape and pillage and steal and kill and destroy, that you should step back and take a look at you and yours and your culture and the people in it. And when you see fuck shit with your people in your culture, you say don't do that. Like if I have a client that is doing toxic things, they're black, so me and the other black person, I'm going to tell this other black person that, hey, maybe you shouldn't do the toxic stuff. Maybe we can think of other ways for you to deal with your problems besides doing the toxic things. But, white folks don't do that. People that feel like they're at a certain level of power or privilege don't do that. And yes, privilege, I always say privilege is how other people see you. But a lot of folks know that they have privilege and they use it. They use it to manipulate because they know. All them white people knew that they could go into the Capitol and them police officers was not going to shoot them or stop them or burn them down to the ground. Because, societal racism, cultural toxicity. Every culture has a piece, something in it that's toxic, something in it that hurts a large piece of the people in the culture. Okay? I don't care what culture it is. Every culture has it. You need to find that shit in your culture and really ask yourself, do I want to maintain this? Like, for example, I'm black and strong black woman. We don't talk about our emotions and da-da-da-da. That's toxic. So what if the fucking culture says that? my mental health is more important to me than what the fucking culture says. So I am going to express my emotions and how I feel, and I don't care what anyone says or thinks about it. Versus something else in my culture that's not toxic, you know? How we tell jokes and shit. We're always ragging on each other and stuff. That's not something I would want to get rid of. That shit is like funny. I mean, there's a fine line between, you know, being mean versus, you know, you're just telling jokes. But, you know, as a black person, you just know, okay? You just know. So, you know, there are things that I would like to keep and things that I'm not going to do because it's stupid and it hurts my feelings. So I think that we all need to be aware, every single person in this world, of the toxic things that are in our cultures that we are passing down to our children and that maintain fucked up societies and a fucked up world. Epigenetics is real, y'all. Trauma is real. And trauma is not an event. Trauma is how you respond to something. So if I get bit by a dog when I'm 5 and I develop a phobia from getting bit by a dog, but my cousin who got bit by a dog has a dog farm now, loves dogs, crazy about dogs. It wasn't the dog. It wasn't the event. It was how I responded to it. It's how you respond to it. So even something slight, that's why communication is important. Consent is important, whether you're a child or an adult. If a kid doesn't want to hug, don't fucking hug the child. You know, all those things, all of the things that we do to build a better community, a better family, a better society. But if you're not doing those things, then you're just going to create little Americas in your home, little United States in your fucking home. Because we're all just human beings with emotions. That's it. We're all just human fucking beings with emotions, and we think from our emotions. No matter what your status is, no matter how much money you have, at the very base of yourself, you are a human being with emotions. You think with your emotions, and everything that you do is based on, first and foremost, how you feel about yourself. If you don't like yourself, if you feel like you're less than, you are going to find something to cover that up. Whether it is an addiction, whether it is racism. I'm going to be mean to those people because they're black. And it makes me feel better. It makes me feel superior. And society is backing that shit up too and saying I'm superior. So it must be true. It must be true. It must be true. You know, so recognizing those things in yourself and not using fuck shit or bullshit cultural standards to cover that shit up. You know, embrace the fact that, hey, I don't like myself. I wonder why. Where's this coming from? Oh, it's because my mom used to hit me in the face when I would ask for candy or some shit. Okay, so then I need to go to therapy and deal with that because that's not anybody else's fault. That's my mom's fault for hitting me in the face and my fault for maintaining a maladaptive thought process after she hit me in the face for so many years. It sounds easy. I know. But it's not easy. But at the same time, it's still doable. It's doable. It's hard. It's hard to embrace problems. But then this shit like this, like climbing the fucking Capitol, I wanted to see that motherfucker explode. I'm like, okay, so if we're really out here letting the white folks do what they want, are we going to see the Capitol explode? Because, I mean, I wouldn't do some shit like that. But y'all police officers are letting them do shit like that. So let's do it then, bitch. So yes, all of this is a giant pot of mental health issues. Racism is a giant pot of mental health issues. And it's not an excuse because I could have the flu, but I still can process and think and understand that I need to do stuff to treat the flu. I can be a sociopath or a narcissist and recognize that every time I do something, there's consequences. I don't like these consequences. Why do these consequences keep happening? I'm going to go to therapy. So it's not an excuse. It's just a mixture of both. It's culture, epigenetics, genetic and mental health and choices. We're making choices to maintain the other three. So the choices that we make maintain the genetic and the cultural and the mental health. See how that works? See how that works? I'm choosing to, not treat this knee jerk reaction that I have to hurt people. I'm choosing to maintain this cultural toxic thing that I was taught. I'm choosing to know that I have anxiety and that anxiety represents itself as anger issues, and I'm choosing to maintain that anger response instead of going and getting help. You see how it goes together? It's a package, but the head leader of that package is choice. You can choose to change. You can choose to do better. We can all make a different fucking choice. It's a lot of hard work, but if you can put energy into working out, if you can put energy into, going to work every day, you can put energy into your emotions and your self-esteem and the pillars that your life has been built upon and make some changes. So this shit is funny. Because I feel like, the chickens have come home to roost. So this shit is funny. It is, educational because, I'm all about this mental health shit. So I'm just like, these motherfuckers, this is pathological. This is like a issue here. This is a culture. This is a culture. This is a culture. It's a cult. It's brainwashing, and they're choosing to maintain it. I choose to maintain the brainwashing. See, because it's at some point it's gonna hurt. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. But it's like as soon as it starts to feel uncomfortable, here comes that cognitive dissonance coming in to say, no, both just because two things are logical, or one thing is logical, I'm just going to choose to believe the other thing. Just because one thing is I'm just still going to choose to believe the other thing. So yes. This should be a lesson to us all. Work on yourselves. Learn to love yourselves. Learn to treat people like people, no matter what color, creed, whatever the fuck they are. Everybody is a human being out here trying to live and do stuff and just be. And, when you see something that might turn into trauma, you got to stop it. You got to stop it in its tracks. If you feel like you cause hurt to people, for whatever reason that you feel is logical in your mind, it's still hurting people. So it doesn't go together. Whatever the reason you came up in your head that it's okay to hurt people, it doesn't go because you're hurting somebody. Like, whatever, like, oh, this will cleanse the world. No, because you can't clean stuff by hurting it. Oh, no, this will make my sadness go away. No, because, like, if it made your sadness go away, then you wouldn't have to keep doing it. See how that works? See how you can't, oh, this is the culture, and, we're supposed to, like, be married. What is that? Where people, they marry, and the parents put the marriage together. What the fuck is it called? I forgot what it's called, but those cultures where the parents, like, arranged. So this is the culture. And, you have to be in this arranged marriage. And we don't care if that doesn't work for you, and if that makes you feel sad, and if that makes you feel upset. Not saying that everybody that has arranged marriage doesn't like it, but I have clients who talk about it's a choice. So their families made it a choice for them, or their families don't do it at all because they care more so about their kids' mental health than to force their kids to do something that they may not want to do. And then when it's a choice, some of the kids want to adhere and they They enjoy it or whatever. Whatever reason you choose to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And they choose to do it. And some kids don't. And that's what I'm saying. It's not, you don't have to take, some things need to be taken away. Like the genital mutilation shit. But, like making things choices that could turn into toxic issues if you try to force somebody to do it. Those type of things, like stop trying to make people do shit. I don't care if it's culture or not. Oh, we have this tradition and where we're supposed to do this thing and you're supposed to be this religion and whatever. Okay, well, they don't want to be that religion. They don't believe in that religion. So you're going to keep making them be that religion and then you're going to have all these issues with your child now because they don't want to do the religion shit. Like, okay, if they don't want to do it, I'll love you and I'll pray for you and we'll still be the same. We'll never bring it up again. I don't care. I don't know. I've just seen what happens when you try to make people do stuff. And then I'm just the biggest, don't make me do stuff. Not saying, and again, not saying that, arranged marriages are bad because, some people vibe with that shit and they like it and they have big, huge families because of it. And well, that's part of the reason why. So, it's just like an example of how something can turn toxic. If you are trying to make somebody do something they don't want to do. Like you're trying to make somebody marry somebody they don't want to marry. No. So, it's just kind of like you got to get to this point where you can look at yourself, look at your culture, look at the toxicity in yourself. So everybody has a little bit of toxic in them because nobody's perfect. Look at the toxicity in the people around you and ask yourself what needs to be worked on, what needs to be fixed. These white folks didn't ask themselves that. They just said it's the Capitol's fault, the Senate and the House or whatever, whoever's in that building. I don't fucking know. I voted, so you leave me alone. I'm not good with government and the houses and senates and all that stuff. Anyways, and they just said it's their fault, so we're gonna go wreck the place. We're not gonna fix whatever's inside of us that's upset. We're just gonna go wreck the place. So yeah, that's my rant. I hope you found this insightful. But yeah, like I said, I'm entertained. I am highly entertained. I don't want anybody to die, so I'm glad I didn't blow it up. But I'm just like, it's just the caucasity of it all, But yeah, let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed this, and later days.